It looks like you're all trying to pose for like a painting, and it's a serious painting.
Good.
Best kind of painting. The serious ones. 3 little kids ain't all we. Whatever. There's got to be a better way to sing that.
Yeah, I'm just I'm boosting their volume.
We're
We've got to
adjusting.
find that perfect
Turn up.
speaker volume.
Crank that. Crank that. Oh,
That was good.
Yep.
No?
Yeah, we'll keep adjusting. Wish we had a little remote.
I know.
Beep, beep,
Boop boop.
Justice for sections. That's all I have to say.
John's a bit quieter than Kate, hey?
Perhaps.
Perhaps a smooching?
I'm a bit quieter than Kate.
Is Joan quieter than me? Because I can definitely fix that if that's the case.
To us, yes, but I'll,
Yeah, I don't
I'll
know
let the
about
chat
us to everyone
throw in
else.
as well.
Well, I mean,
The
I'll let you finish
grandfather.
fiddling with your dice.
I assumed the grandfather of all weapons would be like a rock or like a hand. Well, hey, whatever, you know.
Too low on me. Interesting.
Oh shit. Yeah.
The gate at the top.
I'm
the
loud
gate
for
changed
me. On the device. Okay, that's full. I'll check yours.
Was there hair in my teacup?
Oh
Oh, no. No, we're good.
No,
It's
you're
not, it's not.
full.
Kate is loud for Kate, which makes the rest of the sound in the world seem quiet.
Okay, am I more
Yeah, now-
unusual Kate for Kate?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, but now it almost sounds like John's not on the mic, does it? It's hard to
Am
tell.
I still muted?
John's still muted.
Doodle-doo.
From
Well-
when he got up.
There
that
we
would
go.
Yep.
Hey.
Great job,
We did it,
everybody.
guys.
Problem solving in the pre-show.
This is episode 0.1, I think,
I'm
right?
not used to being in charge of the board. Nice hard.
Yeah, Kate, I never messed up the board when I was in charge of muting and unmuting
No,
people.
you're perfect.
For what it's worth, FWIW, I don't think we've had any of those really awkward, like, you know, the church minister needs to go and take a pee during the service, and like you hear him, and I don't know. I don't know why I'm thinking.
Yeah.
Are you
John's
saying this from like?
Honestly.
Yeah, are you saying
Yes.
this from personal experience here, Scott?
We've
No, I've definitely seen it in a movie or a TV show or something.
It was featured in the Naked Gun.
53 and a third.
Yeah.
Wait, that's no,
then
that's
yes.
that's
Also that.
Playmate Play Fighter 63 and a third.
It's 33 and a third.
There we go.
Oh my god. Okay, Aragwen. So, where? Like, what do you want me to? That's not. I don't know how to pronounce it. Phew.
She just needed to hear it.
The I is silent.
Okay.
Boop.
Amazing.
Oh.
Yeah, get her.
Gondor calls for aid. For what it's worth.
We're under attack. For what it's worth.
Does Gondor call for aid? I mean, really?
I mean, they blow that horn.
Well,
Oh,
that's
they-
Boromir calling for aid.
They
It's
blow
true.
that
Using
Well,
the Horn of Gondor.
Doesn't Gondor light the
Yes, they do. I was fucking around.
deployers?
The Horn of Boromir
Status.
is, you know, like he blows that while the Uruk-hai are going after the hobbits, and then you hear Legolas go, "The Horn of Gondor," and then Aragorn goes, "Boromir," and he just starts like running, you know.
Legolas is really good at saying like, "Oh, there's a fire over there," and then someone else is like, "Well, I guess I'll go put it out." Like Legolas points things out,
Yep.
and then waits for someone else
He's sort of
to
the
take-
5 paths of the.
Do you remember how ridiculously pissed people got about Legolas and his shield surfing down the stairs?
I do remember that. People were
Like,
pretty
people
angry.
were so fucking salty about that.
I was too busy being titillated.
Sorry. That's really loud.
Now I'm just picturing you sitting in the movie theater biting your lip.
Oh boy.
No, not that way. Okay.
Oh boy.
After the Hobbit, they ain't salty no more.
The
It's
orc
true.
fight.
True. Yeah, I would accept 1,000 shield slides in exchange, but whatever.
Wrong part of the Hobbit.
I was lucky enough to see The Hobbit in the comfort of my own home while it was still in theaters for reasons that I won't get into.
That's pretty cool, though.
But it wasn't piracy. Haha.
He's gonna give you just enough information.
And I still
to
fell
think. What?
Yep.
The Hobbit was bad.
It was
Oh, The
bad.
Hobbit. Sorry,
Yeah.
I misheard. I heard something else.
Didn't realize that it was going to be more than one film.
Oh.
Ooh, you made a mistake.
So I went and I was like, they've done The Hobbit. Cool. This is exciting. And I was like, wow, this is kind of bad. You know, okay, but you know, they're almost a dragon, I guess. And ha ha ha, the end. Oh, the end.
It's one of the ends, or is it? ...
Question mark? Yeah, exactly. Oh, boy.
Yeah, I didn't see the third one.
Oh wait, we should do the. Hold on.
Carnaging, quick. BT dubs.
All right, no more of that.
Okay, all
no
right.
more of that.
No, boy. Sorry. Well, that's the show we're on now. We can have green screen too.
Cast it into the fire!
Isildur! That's the role I want. The guy who shouts Isildur.
You want
So
to
you
be
wanna
Hugo
be
Weaving.
Elrond.
Yes.
Nice.
I mean, duh. don't know,
I
even-
totally could cast
Still
you
have a
as
point,
as
yes.
Isildur, though.
I don't.
Hmm.
Wait.
And just put that smarmy face on, and when he's like, cast it into the fire, Isildur, and you're like, no.
Just a quick sidebar for Carnage Inc. No worries. Check my YouTube channel. They're all there if you want to catch up.
Okay, a question before we get into things solid, because I actually need to know. If you had to cast Scott
Oh.
in any role in the Lord of the Rings trilogy, what would it be? We already know what we'd cast Kate as, or not Kate, Liz as, because Liz would take Kate Blanchett's role.
But I would also take Miranda Otto's role. You can just cast me as the woman in Lord of the Rings, and that's fine. I'll allow
People be like, oh, right, that one part. Yeah.
it.
Thanks, Aragwen.
I would cast you as Saruman. I think it would be great. I think you'd be swell.
I will be a hobbit because I am short.
You could be Rosie Cott.
Ooh, hello.
You get to be Sam's beard. It's great.
I'm fine with that.
Nosy. Yeah.
So you'd be one of the Saxville Bagginses.
Oh. I'm not. I'm way out of my depth here, guys, in my Lord of the Rings
Be one of
lore.
the Proudfoots. Proud feet.
I would cast myself as Merry of Merry and Pippin fame. But that's me.
You'd be Wormtongue.
I would.
Oh.
That's so much true.
Yeah.
So sorry, but
No,
it's
it's so true. It's so true. Grease this hair up. Let's go. Well, give me a wig.
Why do you ladies trouble is on an already troubled mind? You have to shave your eyebrows right off your face.
Eh, I do it for the art.
So that means that Jork would be Celeborn.
Caliburn. Coincidence?
No.
Definitely a coincidence, yeah.
It isn't a coincidence that we have She Who Knows 10,000 Things right here, because she is here and she is ready. Ready for it, I assume. Maybe she's not
Ready
ready.
for
I don't know. But, she's here, so we have that going for us. I am a Gimli.
John? Rebuttal?
No, trust an elf.
I mean, he's a great. I like him in every film I've seen him in. I feel like.
John Rhys Davies.
Yeah.
Especially the Princess Diaries 2 Royal Engagement. Am I right?
Ladies,
Everyone. It's a
everyone.
universal love.
You gonna leave the saying in here? On the Princess Diaries? No?
No.
Should I? Okay.
Yeah.
The guy who looks concerned about all of this?
You
So
want me to
not
ride into
Aylmer.
what? And my axe.
I'm my axe.
So good.
We dwarves are natural sprinters.
Dangerous. There were short distances.
We're gonna dig into this. Oh no,
Oh, not the Silm.
Here it
Damn
comes. Here it
they are
comes.
coming.
Well,
Okay, here's the thing. You can cast me as Tom Bombadil, and then I would be like, sir, not appearing in this film because he doesn't belong. Tom Bombadil is dumb.
wow.
Yeah,
Straight
that's
up.
it.
Okay, I love Tom Bombadil, but he's a very easy and reasonable cut to make.
You can just excise this.
There's
that'll
some
be
things
fine.
that are great in books.
Oh, I could totally solve all the problems for everything, and it's definitely a problem that I would like to see solved, but I don't feel like it. Here you go.
Yep.
Let's sing a song and dance.
I always thought it was a commentary upon divine intervention.
Gifting that later.
Yay!
Go,
There,
Liz.
it's clipped for you.
Well, thank you.
Oh, perfecto. Thank you. Whoa.
So have any of y'all spent any experience? 3, 2, 1, go. Well, you all spent experience last session. None of you spent experience this session. I was apparently the least favorite last session. What does that make me today, Aragorn? What does that make me today? That's
Hey.
fucking right.
Whoa.
We had to give John, a way to make up his standing.
Exactly.
You're welcome.
We're really generous,
Mhm.
I guess we should just pick right in, shouldn't we, and find out what the hell happened, huh?
Who
Nothing.
would like to begin?
Nothing happened.
My notes are away. I'll contribute as we go.
Oh no.
So
Fine.
there were many conversations had. I believe that Sophia and Patches had a conversation before leaving Halifax, where Patches revealed that she had joined House Dougal. Folks,
Yeah.
Go ahead.
I was just gonna say, and Sophia wanted to make sure that she did not join House Dougal to help Sophia and Zeron.
Which she did not. So folks gathered back together, headed back to the Spark. Cog went back to his parents' place. Granville and Neela made their own way. So back in the Spark, Sophia went off to speak to Zister.
Yeah, and she requested that she be given some sort of official position at the Spark with a title within the Freehold. And came clean to Zister about what was going on, and Zister has basically said that he will support them, which is lovely.
Brahm and Zeron had a talk as well. I took a note.
Yeah, Brahm was
Before
trying to find out both for the Countess Weyer, but also for himself, whether Sir Zeron felt that he was being rescued from his political marriage situation, or whether he felt he was under duress. Turns out he didn't, or at least that's what Brahm believes. And Patches also had a conversation with Zister.
Patches told the members of the Golden Braid that she had been asked to join and that she was considering it. And then she went off and spoke to Zister. It's pretty emotional. Zister was upset that she hadn't consulted him. Told her that she had to figure her shit out. And until she did, she was no longer a steward of the Spark and no longer a student. She walked
And
out
banned from the workshop.
Walked out of the room, calmed the fuck down, turned around, and told him what for. And that's exactly what he needed. So they made up and
I was like, they made out? No.
made up.
Nope.
And Patches headed back into the exhaust. Meanwhile, some things were happening out in the garden.
That's right. The Countess Neela has arrived. She's here to tour the Spark. She's here to visit her uncle, the Duke Granville, and of course, she's here to receive her marriage proposal from Sir Zeron. So they go out to the garden together, and she, Thunder, and Fury, because it's not happening. Brahm and Sophia go out to try to sort of, I don't know, mitigate damage, I guess.
Oh.
Yeah.
Yeah, and Sophia says very plainly that Zeron and she chose each other, and that she wishes Countess Neela all the best in finding someone who loves her as much as she deserves. And then Countess Neale wanted to be left alone, and so they got the fuck out. But Brom stayed behind. And then it was up to Zeron and Sophia to break the news to Granville, who was not happy.
Also, understatement of the century.
Yeah. He was encouraged to step into an office, and was pissed.
Yeah, Duke Granville is very upset. His authority has been undermined. He's been working for years trying to put into place this alliance, or trying to sort of curry favor, I guess, with House Dougal and ally House like Fiona and Dougal through this political marriage. Now that it's been undone, he's furious about having been made the fool, and also just about how ungrateful little shits we all are. But Zeron had something to say. He sure did. And I'll leave it at that, because I imagine we might hear some of it again, potentially.
Yeah, we'll hear it again. Any questions?
Nope.
How do these ad wizards come up with this one? Folks, we have these cards in order to maintain our safety. You do not have cards, but you do have options. We'll get to them in a second. But we have these in order to make sure that we can play a game that we consider not only fun, but also safe, that we can push boundaries without worrying that we're going to push each other off cliffs. The green card means I am totally okay with what's happening. I'm enthusiastically consenting, even if I may not outwardly appear to be doing so, and would like to continue. Yellow means I'm okay, but I am approaching my limit. Please be warned that if this gets any more intense or goes much further than this, and I may no longer be capable of enthusiastically participating. And red means I am not okay. I need the game to stop. We need to either immediately retcon what just happened, or we need to change the subject entirely. Either way, check in with me and stop game. This is not okay. Playing one of these cards does not mean that something is wrong with the game, and it doesn't mean that somebody has made a mistake. What it means is that somebody isn't okay, and we need to check in with them, or that somebody is okay, and they want to make sure that everybody knows that. There is no shame in either pulling out a card or doing whatever prompted pulling the card in the first place. There's only shame in forcing someone to divulge, why they want to pull a card. That's up to them to decide if they want to reveal it or not. There is no justification necessary. Ever.
Yep.
You do not have cards, but you do have options. You can whisper either me or Aragorn. Full disclosure, normally my screen is protected from the other players, but in this case it is possible for Kate to see mine, although she isn't supposed to be looking at it, but she can potentially see it. If you whisper Aragorn as well, that's fine. She can provide feedback to me anonymously if you're not comfortable coming to me directly. The other thing that you can do in order to keep yourself safe is to leave. You can leave chat or leave the stream entirely. We don't want you to do this, but we do want you to stay safe, so make sure that you do whatever is best for you to keep yourself healthy and happy. We good?
Yas.
At one point I should just pre-record that message, press play, and we can all just sort of except we shouldn't, because we have to actually all be active and paying attention to it, because that's
Where your fire extinguisher is, so you don't have to look for it during a fire.
Exactly.
Oh fuck!
Know how to use it, so you don't have to learn while there's a fire. Yeah, that's why we
Also
go
an
over it every
excellent
week.
point, actually.
So I squeeze this, right? Sir, this is a Wendy's.
Pull, aim, squeeze, and sweep, and keep your back to an escape route.
Back for the old pull, spray, and pray.
There are several games these days that are cooperative, and there's games that are competitive, but there are asymmetric games as well. A game where there is one player who is against the rest. Sometimes that's known from the very beginning of the game. Games such as Scotland Yard or Spectre Ops or other games of that ilk, you know immediately who the player is who is currently acting against everyone else. And then there are other games that involve betrayer mechanics, such as Betrayal at House on the Hill or Dead of Winter, where it isn't known who is, in fact, the person who may end up becoming the villain. And in the case of some games, it's in fact impossible to tell even to the person who will eventually betray the others, because it is a random mechanic, one that is just thrown out there for everybody to enjoy. But I think that the real world is a little different than that. Being the villain is something that actually comes about in retrospect. The villain is the antagonist, but nobody necessarily believes that they are the antagonist of a story. It's in fact a truism about villains in fiction, which I actually also don't believe. There are some people who absolutely know that they're villains and are very happy to be so. But it isn't always clear. And the idea of who the villain is can become difficult in a role-playing game because sometimes you have to make a decision that you wouldn't normally want to make, but you are pressured into doing so. And in that case, do you become the villain? Whether you're a player or a beloved NPC, you could potentially start opposing the others, and for a moment, you are the betrayer. You are the bad guy. Usually in games like this, it's the storyteller who ends up playing most, if not all, of the bad guys. I've spoken about this at length in other media, but there are times when players will find themselves in that position as well. And maybe not necessarily for selfish reasons, but there are villains out there, secret or not, betrayers or always opposed. And they aren't necessarily revealed until after the game is over. I will repeat what Zeron said at the end of the last episode. I'm surrounded. It is a Gwydion who raised me, molded me, and shaped me. It was a Dougal and a commoner who fought beside me and forged a bond. And it was a Liam who taught me how to use the heart that she herself repaired. Dougal, Gwydion, Liam. If Fiona cannot do these things for me, then I have nothing more to say to you.
I stand next to Zeron.
So do I.
We're still technically in your office. Zeron has just recently stood up. You were the one who helped him up, actually. Is Brom even there?
No, Brahm is currently having a
heart-to-heart with Neale.
moment with Countess Neale, yeah.
Granville pulls himself up. You can practically see the weather warp in the room as the tempest starts to form. And he takes a very deep breath and he says, "You, sir, have forgotten your place." I'll remind everybody that they have made their willpower rolls so that they're able to act in the face of she aggression right now. Unless it gets much worse than this, but I'll let you know. Then perhaps my place should be elsewhere. Sophia, you get the distinct impression that Zeron is making a play. He's being very calm, but you can tell that he isn't afraid, but he absolutely is just sort of like, he is swimming out over his head. Any actions from either of you?
Not at this moment.
Your Grace, this is your truest knight. He stands before you. You were friends, were you not? Can you not speak as friends?
Do friends do this to each other?
You were planning his marriage for 2 years and breathed not a word of it to him.
Do I let you in on every plan? Is that important? That I make sure that everyone knows everything that goes on?
When it
Why would I tell him if it fell through? Why would I tell him if it needed to be so secret as to make sure that no one else could catch wind of it in case something like this happened?
Just to prevent something like this happening.
It's already being prevented, isn't it?
I mean, this current fallout.
Oh, thank you. I will not stand by and let this turn into a rift between you.
And so you say now, here, that you are going to deliberately interfere with Fiona affairs. Speak
And
carefully,
now-
Baroness.
Your Grace, far too many conflicts of mine in the last year have been solved through rage. My rage. And that will not happen this time. I am sad for Sir Zeron. I feel anger for how he is being spoken to. But more so, I stand here for love. Love between the two of us, but love between him and his house. Your Grace, if you had seen his dream, you would know how much it tears him up inside to have to stand against the wills of his house. This brings him no pleasure.
I don't have the privilege of being able to walk through every single one of my subjects' dreams.
Well, if you would take Liam at their word, he is trying to follow his heart. And he does not want to lose you.
And why is he choosing to follow his heart now, when we needed him most? Why did this suddenly become inconvenient for him to serve as we asked him to?
We did not plan on when we were going to fall in love, Your Grace. It happened. It had no timeline.
It is time that you learned, Baroness, that the love of a Fiona can be flighty, indistinct, inappropriate, and can shift like the winds.
And yet it conquers all. Does it not?
You see that he relaxes like 1 unit.
It's better than none.
That's what we'd like to believe. That isn't necessarily the case.
We have put you in a difficult situation, Your Grace.
Yes. Yes, you have.
I freely acknowledge this. Perhaps we should make our case with Lord Donovan?
High Lord Donovan.
With High Lord Donovan.
He would be the head of House Dougal. just to
Okay.
make that clear for everybody there.
He said, no.
Rathsmere is Fiona.
Oh, High Lord
Is that who you
Rathsmere.
meant?
Yeah.
That's who I meant. Thank you.
Okay. Because I'm like, yeah, we could go talk to Donovan.
Nah, I feel like that's a no.
I
necessary
can
conversation right now.
deal with the Dougal side, but we'll deal with that one. That's the subject of conversation.
And you. As if he is completely, by the way, this is an etiquette power move that you would know. He is ignoring Sophia at this point and what she just said. Like, deliberately. And he's now looking at Patches. You've been a knight for what? Hours. And you dare to come in here as a representative of Dougal.
No. I do not represent the house as a whole. That is not a knight's position. My actions do reflect on the house, and I'm doing my best to learn the ways to properly behave, so I apologize for my speaking out of turn moments ago. But if there is a way that I can be of service to my house and of service to this situation, as now a knight of House Dougal, I am making myself available to ease the situation.
By standing next to a rebellious knight.
I will not compromise on the deeds that I have done. The deeds which Sir Zeron and I have shared that have led to the perseverance of Heartslight, to the saving of this duchy and the saving of your life, Duke Granville. I will not ignore that past. It is what makes all of us who we are.
Do you not see, Your Grace, that the people who stand next to me have done so much to serve not only this county, not only this duchy, but to Concordia as a whole, and to me in particular? And do you not see that you are in fact demanding something of me that is inappropriate? Not only because of matters of love. The fact that you would challenge that these two have any right to stand against you is to not understand the bonds that are forged by a mutual respect, love, a battle. Perhaps you do not understand. Perhaps it has been too long since you have been in my position. And Granville just says very, very deliberately, you forget your place. And until you have been given permission, you will not speak again in this room. And he starts to pace.
Duke Granville,
What?
the situation has occurred. What can we do to solve it? I do not have the right to know of Fiona's inner workings, but if there is anything you can share as to their goals that could help us work towards a solution.
It appears that you have done everything that you can in order to disrupt this situation, both of you.
I did everything I could. To prevent this happening at the wedding itself.
Have you sworn any oaths to the effect that you are now taking him as your prize?
We have not, Your Grace.
then it isn't unsalvageable.
We would swear no oaths before speaking to you.
Why?
It's
Then
a
I'm
matter of-
I'm forced to believe that the only reason you haven't sworn the oaths is in order to twist the knife in my back,
It's a
so
matter
that
of
you can see
courtesy.
my expression first.
A courteous gesture, Your Grace. Keeping you in the loop.
Courtesy.
What would you have us do, Your Grace? How can we prove to you that
Forsake
this is for
him.
the best?
Understand that what you have shared is a treasured thing that you can hold into your memory, and that it is over.
It was shared with the Countess Neale. Do you think she would take him back?
Like I give a damn. One way or another, this alliance is happening.
Must this alliance be between Sir Zeron and the Countess Neale? Is there no alternative? I am willing to do my best to put in good words for alternative candidates or alternative arrangements with what little sway I have.
This took years of planning. Years. Undone. Right in the middle.
It's difficult when your pawns turn out to be knights.
I need you to roll me your wits. I need you to roll me your wits etiquette, please.
Duke Granville.
And
Your Grace.
your wit specialty applies. Clever retorts.
That must apply, right?
Yeah.
It does.
2 successes.
100%. Ooh.
So here's the thing. In parliamentary debate, heckling is allowed, but only if it's good. And if it's not, generally the speaker asks you to shut the fuck up. But if it's good, everyone kind of goes, "Oh!" And then someone on the back's like, "Whoop," and then everything keeps going. So what you have essentially done is you have heckled him, but you delivered it in such a smooth, like incisive way that he can't immediately tell you to shut the fuck up.
Mm-hmm.
Reprieve. Reprieve.
Your Grace, I believe that we have proven our loyalty to you over the past years. I don't think it is fair for one action born out of love, one selfish action, if you wish to see it that way, to take away everything else that we have done for you. We are willing to work with you towards a solution.
There are systems in place for these sorts of things. There are manners of recourse for these sorts of things. There's a procedure. Can I ask both of you to roll your perception alertness? Difficulty is 7.
Detailed oriented?
No.
Fine details or insightful?
No.
All right.
Fine detail.
Oh, that's a lovely
No,
tablecloth.
that's
Detail oriented.
But you didn't budge.
Yeah.
Good.
Do you see this?
Div 7? Yeah, I sure do.
It's 5 successes.
Wow. Filthy.
Zeron is removing his right glove.
No.
He's doing so in a way that it's not meant to be very obvious that he's doing it, but he is doing it.
Does this seem like he's about to go a challenge smack, or like a bunk, or something
He's
else?
not bunking.
So it could be a whoosh.
Yes, it very much looks like he may be challenging. He can't
Nope.
speak. There's only certain things that he can do at this point.
Which side of him am I standing on?
Whichever side you want.
Closest to the glove or furthest away?
Whichever side you want to be, I don't care.
I'll be the side closest to the glove so I can reach for his hand.
Patches and Sophia switch
What, to
sides.
just do one of these?
I just want to like stop him from removing the glove so he knows that I saw what he was doing. But take his hand.
I would be the coldest of hearts if I didn't acknowledge that you in fact have the capacity for love, deep love. Every Fiona knows that love is a wonderful thing, and it drives us all to distraction and damnation at one point or another in our lives. You've been caught up in this, Sophia.
Fiona, understand this to be true. And I am a Liam. And I will not let Zaron turn his back on the mortals he has been mentoring.
So this is for the love of mortals.
This is for love, Your Grace, I told you. They need him. He does not wish to be at court. He does not thrive at court. You know this about him.
We need him. Did you not see what happened to Care Frost? We're vulnerable. We try not to make it obvious, but we are. Especially here in Northern Ice. And the gallant actions of a golden braid that is not even subject to a house's control does not give us what we need right now.
Your Grace, may I ask how sending such a strong knight away from Northern Ice strengthens you?
Because we need Dougal's strength. Her Frost was severely damaged. They sabotaged whatever they could and ransacked before they left. We've been putting a brave face on it because that's what we need to do to show strength, to show that we are still capable. But the house is weakened. And it's been weakened since before Broken Flight even managed to make it in. We could have repelled them had we had the strength. And while we have more than enough of warriors, we have no equipment for them. Our way of making war is old, and it will not stand up to scrutiny, let alone stand up to battle.
Then
And yet, Your Grace, a newly made knight of House Dougal offers her your assistance and allegiance, and you turn your back on her.
She's been a knight for all of 2 hours,
She was knighted by the Queen.
and you were given your title by the Queen as well, were you not? Is it the
Given-
Queen who is attempting to destroy me?
Duke Granville, I understand that you're caught in the middle of this, but please,
Do you want to make yourself useful? Go and find Brom and get him in here, and bring Neale with him.
I will. But I can also offer my services as Dougal in repairing Carefrost and in any other needs. I will assist. I'm going to leave and go try to get the other two.
So when you leave,
Mhm,
the room,
mhm.
Zister is standing there.
Oh.
outside the door. He is
Gotta be
leaning
careful.
against the wall. What's going on there?
Motley intrigue. I hate this shit. What the frick have I done?
That's a great question.
Instantaneous regret. Okay.
This will not be the first time that I've told you that you're an idiot.
Frick no yet. Don't piss off Granville right now. He will bite your head off.
I'd like to see him fucking try.
Now's not the time. If you can,
You tell me that he's welcome in here, and I'll leave him in there for the time being.
yes, keep him in there if you can, politely. I need to go get the other interested parties in this for the intrigue.
We're wrong.
That office isn't big enough for all of you in there.
If you can politely suggest an alternative location, I encourage you to do so.
It's lovely in the garden. And that way, if there's an explosion, it'll just head off into the sky.
I'm gonna turn around and head back inside.
I don't see a troll or she standing in front of me yet.
More comfortable out in the garden rather than cramming all of us in this small office.
Fine.
Thank you.
And he gets up and he starts walking out, and he just he doesn't shoulder check anybody on his way out, but he's definitely not ceding any room, making sure that everybody else gets out of his damn way. As he goes, sees Zister, who is just leaning against the door, and then he takes a lollipop out of his vest and just pops it into his mouth, and he turns and just starts stalking all the way through.
Before following, I want to just hold Zeron back for a minute. Did you mean to challenge him? I know you are not one to act rashly, but I strongly advise against that. There are other ways, and we will find them. I'm here. I'm not going anywhere, okay? And give his hand another squeeze and go to follow Dookie McDuke.
So the instant that you step out of the office, thank you. I don't know whether Patch is meant to get me out of there, but at least now I can speak. Rom. I'm so embarrassed. Neela is still, when she's crying, she is the absolute epitome of heartbreak and of pain. And the wind that's blowing in this garden is just carrying away every individual tear from her face so that it can't streak her perfect cheeks, but instead go off as small crystalline bombs, sending shards out behind her.
Into your eyes.
Ah! Holy shit! Ah!
I'm bleeding.
You must think that I'm a horrible person.
I do not think anything of the sort.
I do not think
Think anything.
anything.
Of that sort of.
I am wrong.
All right, guys. Very
I
good.
mentioned that.
This must have been at least 5 minutes. I have it set to auto.
What is the easiest place to go? I cannot stay here. I cannot darken this doorstep any longer.
I understand. We could arrange for neutral lodgings, but perhaps your uncle would be, well, I imagine he would be more than happy to host your presence.
Does he even know?
I'm not sure.
I should tell him. I'll do him that service. I'll tell him that I'm not willing to go through with the wedding.
Of course, my lady.
Your counsel is so appreciated.
Would you, feel...
You were the one who taught Zeron, aren't you?
That was long ago.
He always looked so dashing next to you.
He was always the looks.
And what would that make you? The strength? The foundation?
Not the brains, that's true. I like to think so.
You are strong.
A relationship built on a strong foundation is one that is built to last. That is what I believe.
God damn it, Eric. We'll speak to the Duke, and then perhaps we'll go. Maybe we should find something to eat.
Of course. That can be arranged. If you have any preferences, please let me know, or I can speak to your entourage.
Whatever it is will be expensive, and I will pay for it.
That is understood. Wow. I will go and find His Grace, so that you two may speak privately. If you would prefer it that way, of course.
You shouldn't leave my side for now. And then as she takes 2 steps forward, the doors to the garden just fling open and shatter.
Uh-oh. My doors! Our doors, obviously.
Sending it's safety glass though. So sending just pebbles falling to the ground as Granville just storms outside and the wind kicks up even further.
Uh-oh.
Are you following?
On my way through, I'm just gonna swing by. No, I'm not.
Hey, Saley, you wanna
No.
have a good time?
I was gonna suggest like refreshments or something, but I think that's probably not
Finger
gonna
sandwiches.
do what I'd want it to do. No, there's nothing I can quickly do to fix those doors. Okay, I'll just.
Your Grace, a big flourishy bow. Just like large, not, I'm not mocking him, obviously.
I guess, Sophia, you're also following?
I am.
You holding Zeron's hand as you go in?
No, I'll let go of his hand just before we step out in the garden.
Your Grace, I was happy to see you come through just now as she sees that, the doors are rubble. I must say, unfortunately, that the proposal will not be proceeding as planned. I would decline. And Granville just takes one look at her and then whirls his head to look at Brahm. What did you tell her?
Your Grace, I have done nothing except provide my company to the Countess Neale these last few minutes.
You're now all on the scene.
I was trying to, if you must know, I was trying to provide her some comfort in this time of emotional distress.
Distress? And why are you emotionally distressed, Countess? Because I am a villain. And Granville has now the most she-like what the fuck face that he can possibly muster.
I react surprised at this as well.
Because I've tried to engineer something for power when I am standing in the way of love. How could I do such a thing? Because you're told to. Because that's what everybody around here needs.
I think we're all looking at.
Do I need to spell this out? And he looks around the garden, and there is not one single person here who does not outrank the others. So he points to Zeron. Find me a large sheet of paper and several quills. Bring them out here alongside the table over there. You can do that, can't you? And Zeron straightens up, and he turns and he heads back into the spar.
Did it seem like he was under the influence of Sovereign then?
No.
Or he's just doing okay.
And
I'll tell you if Sovereign gets... I think that all of you have enough perception right now that you'd be able to tell if that shit was happening.
Excellent.
And I guess I'm just also seeing Granville like this, which is really unexpected and out of the blue. I mean, I'm putting two and two together, but does he seem like he's out of control, or is he still?
No, he's just pissed.
Okay, he's in control of himself. Like he's not gonna.
Fiona aren't subject to the same kind of rages that Gwydion are.
Right.
Fiona are just
forgot.
subject to, well,
Hmm?
who would like an update on what Fiona do?
Yay! Always and forever.
If it would be appropriate, I would like to approach Countess Neale.
Appropriate would depend on why you are choosing to do so. Is it to knife her?
No, I'm
That's probably not okay.
looking to. I wanted, I know we only met yesterday, but I feel like we had a polite conversation.
Oh yeah, she likes you.
I want to sort of give her an indication of like, hey, I'm sorry you're unhappy.
You can flash your sick new Dougal tats.
Yeah. No. I have no idea what I was doing there.
What? Spider webs.
Yeah. No.
Cybernetic upgrades. So cool.
Fiona's passions easily become obsessions, and their recklessness in the face of peril quickly transforms into seeking out danger for danger's sake. A she of this house finds ways to make even the more mundane passions like food or drink into hazardous activities. She's the one eating the deadly fugu sashimi or challenging the troll twice her size to a drinking contest. In romance especially, Fiona's passionate nature attains lofty heights with epic love affairs that often end in tragedy. When a member of House Fiona backs down from a challenge in order to avoid risk, they lose one willpower.
Oh wow. Thank you. Would that not imply like a
Point.
sort of adrenaline junkie kind of like drama seeking nature almost?
I need you to ask that again in a more...
Yeah. In a way that makes any sort of sense. Would that not maybe imply that like Duke Granville might be being a bit over dramatic right now?
Granville is being challenged right now.
Mhm.
Yes, that's
He's
fair.
being challenged to basically say, like, can't you just see that these two are in love? And he's like, oh, but I've been putting a lot into this, so he is doubling down.
Mhm.
Yeah. Okay.
It's not so much that he's like, my honor is at stake. It's not so much that, like, he is supernaturally going to fly into a rage because he isn't getting what he wants. It's that he made a very dangerous play. He tried to marry off his most important knight, and it's failing, and he can't give that up easily.
That's fair. Thank you.
I would like to cross towards Countess Neale.
She looks at you, and if it's possible for you to experience minor cardiac arrest from looking at someone be sad, it is possible with her.
Oh.
Dearest Patches,
I'd like to offer my hand.
she reaches out and she takes her, and as you take her hand, you can feel that while she has a glove on this one, this hand is distinctly not made of flesh.
I'd like to give her a hand a squeeze. I've heard, and I'm sorry for this. I'm sorry for this difficult situation, but I hope to lighten your load slightly by letting you know that House Dougal has gained a new knight in myself.
That does give me great joy. And she is still crying. So like, she is clearly not enough joy.
Yeah.
But like,
And though I haven't spoken with the head of the house, I hope that this can at least remove you from a sense of duty to the house.
I myself will present you to Donovan. We'll go together.
I would be honored.
And you see that she's starting to think like, I can do other things to not look like a fool.
And so I'd like to, try to stand by her and provide her a bit of comfort.
Zeron comes back. He's got a big ass, it's blueprint. He puts it down and he spreads it over and he lifts and puts a couple of rocks down so that the she winds don't blow the paper away. And then Granville walks over and snatches the quill and he just starts making large marks across the page. And he outlines actually a fairly impressive, for the amount of time it takes, map of Concordia. Concordia, by the way, is basically North America. Canada and the United States. Sorry, everything south of the United States.
Well, I think, yeah.
I'm not actually sure.
Because I think it's just Mexico and possibly some of the islands.
People forget that Central America is technically in North America. So
right, it's
all
not a separate. It's not a separate.
There's actually
continent.
like 45 countries in North America.
Right.
But people
think
basically only think of 3.
I think of Central America as a separate continent because of weird geography class. Anyway.
It depends. It depends on the map that you're looking at, Kung Fu Fenris. But like, I'm going to assume that basically North America in its entirety is Concordia, but we're not going to. But either way, he is at the moment only showing the continental United States and the Kingdom of Northern Ice. This is us. And he outlines Northern Ice and the Kingdom of Apples. This is our greatest stronghold, but it is a lot of territory to cover. A lot of territory, not a lot of people. And then he inscribes Terranar and then shows some of the various. He starts crisscrossing the map with various different slashes, and here are alliances that we have seen take place. Fiona has an unreasonable amount of land that we must cover and an unreasonable amount of land we must defend. Chimera are not stopped by such things as cold or remoteness, and yet we still must make strides against them. Because if we let Nervosa get powerful in areas that we are not present, then they will become powerful and then threaten our main city centers, which we can't afford to let happen. Even my own duchy, and then he slices through all of Quebec. Population here is incredibly concentrated along the river. Practically nowhere else are there others. Except for, and he stabs at like, Hull.
Yeah.
Nice.
Look at all this land that we have to cover ourselves. You the companions of the Golden Braid. You deal mostly with Fae, or others who threaten the Fae, and less so with Chimera themselves. That falls to others. That falls to us. Now, I can't even ask Zeron to ignore the duties that he is to the throne and to, of course, the Braid, formerly the Branch, something that we could not take away from him. Nor would we. We're proud of Zeron's accomplishments. And yet, and then he passes his hand over and he smears all the ink, and in doing so, a kind of holographic projection comes up.
Awesome.
So this is a cantrip.
Mhm.
And it's Sovereign 5, and it's on all of you.
Oh, shit.
No. We have an abundance of power, but we do not have an abundance of ability to wield it. There are Dougal strongholds, but they do not hold as much power. They are more concerned with creation of doing things as opposed to politics. And yet, swipes across, Dougal themselves find that they do not have the resources that they need in order to create that which they desire to create most. There is an opportunity. And yet, here we have a Fiona trading for a Liam. And then he indicates the map. And show me what Liam can do to help our problem here. Liam, and then he swipes his hand again, and then you see tiny little blue dots appear, but they are quite tiny compared to the other houses. But they're all based on city centers, because Liam are about mortals. And Liam cannot help me.
Then let us find a way for Dougal and Fiona to work together.
I did.
Another way. A new way. A second way. A plan B. A plan F. A plan G. I don't know where you're on your list. I shouldn't assume that there weren't fail-safes.
Your Grace.
Wrong.
Your Grace.
As a Gwydion observer, and then he isolates the fact that Gwydion just like flashes green on this map, making it look very similar to a Christmas tree at this point. You wield almost all the power and resources. Gwydion hurts for nothing. Except, of course, you did lose this, and he points right at Terranar, and you see the Gwydion eagle just go and is replaced by the Dougal hammer, which just locks itself into place.
The hammer just hammers the bird
The
into
eagle.
the-
Yeah, feathers
Whack.
exploding. Such a rude dude.
Such a drama queen.
I love it.
But you are the outside observer here, for I have Liam to the right, Dougal to the left, and someone who may or may not be choosing other paths, and he looks daggers at Zeron, who looks back implacably. So, tell me what I can do.
I am hardly a political strategist, Your Grace. It strikes me, however, as you say, the problem is in trying to solidify the land that you currently have. Keep it safe from Chimera. The companionship of the Golden Braid is at your service, as to all of the people of Concordia. But we cannot do this for you, I agree.
You're too few.
I agree, Your Grace. I wonder...
Mighty but small. just like... And then he doesn't say what he's going to say because he realizes that he would probably be crossing a line that he shouldn't.
Yeah, I don't want to do something I'm going to regret.
You have been working on this for years. Is it your understanding from your research that the only way to actually guarantee that this would happen, that these alliances would stick, would be through a political marriage?
There is no other acceptable marriage at this time. Not one that we can find. There would either be too much disparity or a too difficult pairing.
Your Grace.
Yes.
A very different suggestion. if
House
you are-
Fiona hungers for the wisdom of Gwydion at this time.
Is he being sarcastic?
No.
Okay.
He might be digging a little bit at everyone who isn't Gwydion.
Just checking.
So it's part of Gwydion, so Gwydion Jr. Yeah. Sorry.
A thought has crossed my mind. There are many of our kind who hunger for adventure. To take them to lands unknown. My once squire, Fala, for one. And there are many of all allegiances, houses, who would be honored to take up the mantle of securing Fiona lands, pushing back boundaries, making sure that Chimera are not a threat. Perhaps the House Fiona, with the assistance of other noble houses, could put together a legion of adventurers, of defenders. It strikes me like the person with who proposes such an idea would be able to claim all of the glory of their successes, but perhaps also put off some of their failures.
This isn't just about Chimera. This is also about solidifying an alliance with another of the Sealy houses so that we can maintain our strength politically.
A legion that transcends transcends.
You want me to
sorry.
raise an army?
No.
An army
That
to send out into the wilderness?
No, that would be threatening to the political stability of Concordia. I understand this. But I do not know much about solidifying power, but I do know, Your Grace, that everyone here has been recognized because of their deeds, because we took risks in the name of something good. The good of all Cathay. If you were to... I'm sorry to put it like this, Your Grace, but if you were to undertake a proposal that would assist all houses, all Cathay, by striking an alliance of this sort, of an educative sort, perhaps.
If it were that simple, to simply create an alliance among all Cathane, then there would be no houses, there would be no political turmoil, David would still be alive. And then Zeron just very quietly says, "You need to be very careful, Your Grace, when insulting those who were with him to the last, and who are responsible for his succession, not accession. That doesn't make sense. Shut up. You suck."
Oh, not exorcism.
That's very different.
Oh boy.
The Lady Sophia and I have the fortune of having the ear of the Queen.
You all have the ear of the queen. I am the one person here who doesn't have the ear of the queen.
So allow
And
us
yet
to
you
help
speak to
you
us like
through
we are
those.
nothing.
And
Channels.
he whirled on Sophia. I speak to you as those who have destroyed something I have attempted to build.
Your Grace, we are trying to build something new with you. Help us. You speak of lands outside the city center. Assign some of those lands to Zaron and I to keep safe. I have power, Your Grace. I cleansed Heart's light of a dragon when the entire freehold had been frozen in place. I know, Chimera. Give me a chance to prove to you that I can keep your lands safe.
And
Not
so
despite
you
being a Liam, but because I am Liam.
So you yourself would be responsible for patrolling the entire tundra, from Alert to Iqaluit.
I'm saying, name some land that I will keep safe. I'm not foolish enough to tie myself to the entire Viona territory of Concordia.
We were given the title Defenders of Northern Ice for our deeds, and that isn't a title that we are just going to carry along like a trophy. It is also
Neale's still there.
it is also a responsibility that we now bear. We will not just turn our backs on you or Northern Ice. Just because we are not Fiona.
And what if we can take the plans that we were originally going to receive from Dougal and have them constructed here under Dougal's supervision?
I can do that, seeing as I am now Dougal, and thus Sister will actually let me into his workshop.
Then we give Zister a title.
He would never accept.
Yes. That apparently isn't something that I necessarily trust any longer.
Just because you do not understand the motivations of a commoner does not mean that you can assume that a commoner would change their will.
Up until 3 hours ago, the prevailing wisdom was that Patches, the one commoner in Ignite, would never accept a title.
I'm sorry that prevailing wisdom was unable to see the truth.
And yet you say the same thing about Zister.
I trust him at his word.
Let's see how good his word is.
What is the necessity for him to have a title? I am the steward of the Spark. I am House Dougal. I have just completed the novel annex. I am a useful asset.
You are speaking with the authority of the house that you have only recently joined. I cannot believe.
I am sorry, Your Grace, that you are fixated on the time of my knighting and not the actions that led to it. House Dougal believes in actions, not words. House Dougal has given me this title not for 2 hours ago, but for my years of service to not only the house, but the entire kingdom, and particularly my duties here in your dukedom.
Duchy.
Duchy, thank you. In your duchy.
And then Neela very deliberately places a hand on Patch's shoulder and says, "Well said."
Oh boy.
And Granville was realizing that he is just losing on all kinds of fronts like here.
And
And
turning, buddy. Not good.
This was the tide's like, hello.
can we get Zister out here so that I can speak with him?
Certainly. I'm going to give a little bow and go get him.
Okay, so as you go into the exhaust, which incidentally, right now, the wind is blowing into the exhaust, so every pillows are being tossed around, and Claude is just looking at the door, being like, "The fuck happened there?"
We'll make sure he pays for it. We just won't tell him that today. I'm gonna go find sister.
Okay. You find Zister sharing a bottle of the same bottle of champagne with Talus in his office. Talus is sitting in his lap and is just sort of very much lounging across, like he's got his back up to the wall so that it's he's not putting all of his weight down, but he is swirling the champagne in his glass, and then he looks over. Oh, come on in.
I'm afraid I have to interrupt.
Well, you don't have to do anything because
The Duke requests sister's presence, and we're trying to prevent a lot of trouble.
what are we, like, trying to prevent nuclear war?
Nuclear she, at least.
So I've been summoned.
Yeah, I think he thinks that he can somehow convince you to become a noble.
He's
But-
summoning me in my own freehold.
Okay, well, I've sent the message, and I'm gonna
Do you
turn
know
around
what?
and leave.
Just come here for a second, if you would.
Come back.
Because here's the thing. Any meeting that absolutely requires your presence is a meeting that can wait for you. And he slides a glass along, and he makes sure that he pours this champagne. It's like a magnum, and he just, which means that one of the lessons that I can teach you, that I even know about nobles themselves, is that if you make him wait for me, it gives me the advantage, not him. It's good.
Yep.
It's like good champagne.
He already gave me a glass. This is my second.
Shut up. I was just wondering, we need to come up with titles for the rest of you. Pretty much everybody. I think you're the only one with a title. I don't even know if I have one.
Freeholder.
Yeah, you fucking own it. Sorry.
It's about time that we got ourselves organized, isn't it? Especially if we're going to start gearing the workshop up again.
Sounds like he has a plan to. We're gonna try to salvage this whole wedding thing. I think we'll have to agree to some production in the workshop.
Oh no, we're going to have to produce things, and he's going to have to pay through the nose for them.
Absolutely.
How terrible for us.
Yeah.
It also means that poor Sophia and Geron get to have wedded bliss.
I know. What a tragedy.
They make a good couple.
Yeah.
Good looking couple, anyway. So why does the Duke get all bent up over this?
Because he's been scheming for 2 freaking years somehow. 2 freaking years planning someone else's wedding and doesn't even hint that maybe that person should keep themselves off the market.
It sounds like it sucks.
It's true.
A taste of his own medicine.
You know, now that you're important,
No, I'm not. I'm important for, another couple of days until the next shiny thing comes along.
am I in danger here? No, seriously. Actually, you know what?
Zister,
And he-
Lex, are you in the spark in danger? Let me just consult my calendar. Last week, last month, last year, oh, 2 years ago, 3 years ago. Wow, it's like there's always danger for you in the spark.
So he pulls up his phone, and Brom, your phone starts ringing.
Excuse me, Your Grace, Lady Neale, Lady Sophia, Sir Zeron. Is that everybody? I think that's everybody. Hello, this is Brom.
The grass.
Brom, before I can join you in your tete-a-tete, as it were, I need to move something really heavy.
Yes.
Do you mind just swinging by here?
Oh no, of course
Actually,
not.
I'm going to need all the officers of the Freehold first. It's a very heavy thing. Zeron's not officially inducted yet, so he can stay, but I need Sophia as well.
I'm sorry, the officers of the Spark?
Get over here. Bring Sophia, please.
Please. Yeah, yes, of course, sister. Please. Did I
Like,
hang up? Oh, yeah, I hang up. Lady Sophia, Sister Flex requires a moment of our time.
Zeron, we should.
I thought he was on his way here.
I believe he requires assistance in getting here, Your Grace.
Did he fall down?
I am scouting the situation for you now, Your Grace.
Your Grace, Zister Flex enjoys unique properties as he is in his own freehold. Properties that I can... Never mind. Go. I'll wait here. He stays, she stays.
Mm-hmm.
And he points to Neela and Zeron.
I look at Zeron because I don't want to leave him alone.
The best part about knowing that I love you is that I can love you whether you're here or not.
We will go and find Sister Flex. I imagine he's in his office, but that's a pure guess.
So as you arrive to the office, you are being handed glasses of champagne by Talus, who looks very amused at all of this.
Are we celebrating something?
Well, there was a marriage. There's also been an ennobling.
True?
There's no marriage yet.
It's gonna happen. The difference is whether or not Granville's pissed at us.
He seemed rather upset. Yes.
What a crime. Congratulations are in order to you, Sophia, and you, Patches, for entering into new lives, whether that's pissing off Granville or not. Now, here's the problem. If Granville gets pissed enough, he could revoke my special status. That is true. Well, I don't know. And I don't want to lose that. There's also the unfortunate situation that all of you have now somehow come under my domain, except that all of you outrank me. Talus and Incisor are the only ones who don't.
We're back to where we were a few years ago. Sorry.
So what happens?
Sister, everybody knows things don't work that way within the Sparks walls. You are the head honcho.
We know.
What?
And it's very, and Talus is like, yeah, we know.
Oh.
We know what?
So, because Granville isn't somebody who I distinctly want to destroy, he's a decent guy. And because I understand that he's upset right now, because he's an idiot, I need to know what we can do in order to protect everybody in this room, and specifically this room and its other environs.
Well, giving us official positions within the Spark is a huge help. It shows that we serve this place.
And that we serve you.
That means I'm going to need title. Doesn't it?
You would never
And we wouldn't ask that of you, Zister.
stop talking.
So I'm going to ask the three of you to make me a nice, big politics roll.
Yay!
And then an etiquette roll. So it's politics first, then etiquette.
Is it perception?
No, this is going to be intelligence.
Okay.
So hope that you're smart.
In politics.
Intelligence, politics first. The difficulty is 7.
Politics.
And I'm counting all of your successes at 1.
Okay, well, I got 0, but it wasn't a botch.
Cool. Yeah, if you botch, then I need to know.
For my intelligence politic, and then...
You
And
said
then it'll be
diff-
intelligence etiquette. Intelligence politics for you, Scott?
Did you say diff 6 or 7? Sorry.
7.
7. 1 success.
So that's 3 total. And now etiquette.
And is etiquette also 7?
Yes. So 3 on 1.
Etiquette, I only have high society as a specialty. That's right.
High society does count here.
Okay. So that's 4 for etiquette.
And I'm putting 1 more in for etiquette.
Yeah.
6
What?
3.
Okay.
On what?
So, politically, what Zister is describing is a concern. It is not necessarily a concern that a bunch of nobles have decided to follow a commoner. I mean, that's strange, but it isn't like illegal, right? It is a little strange that, of course, we have Gwydion, Dougal, Liam, and Fiona all under one roof.
Mhm.
But it is true that people can just take what Zister has carved out for himself. And while he has certain sort of like, I get to do what I want in my freehold and I don't want oversight, and they've said for now, like, yeah, sure, you can do that, they can also just as easily say, but we're taking it back. In which case, he can try to defend himself politically or physically, but, you know, the law is not on his side. Etiquette would demand that he be granted title in order to stand up to this, but he doesn't want to be a noble. He doesn't want title. But there are plenty of people who have titles who don't use them. At the same time, it depends on whether Zister is trying to make a play because he's like, commoners, or whether he's just like, I don't want to deal with this. And that's not clear. So it is a question as to whether or not Zister requires some kind of assurance that is a title that he doesn't necessarily have to execute, but one that he could pull up and just be like, hey guys, you can't take my freehold away because it turns out that I'm actually an X. And so you don't override me. The only person who does is somebody who is of higher rank. And even people of high rank, like a count can't come along and take away a baron's freehold, like without there being, like questions or whatever.
Yeah.
A king certainly could be like, yoink, it's mine now. Ha ha ha, feudalism sucks for you.
John, the fact that Sophia was like awarded the lands around the Spark, but she ceded the Spark to Zister.
Yes.
Does that do anything in our favor?
That means that technically, if you directly ceded the lands to Zister,
Yeah.
that means that you have basically said, and I can't tell you what to do.
Okay.
So that is legal.
But it doesn't mean I can suddenly step in like as the person with a title.
No, because it's gone.
Spark.
You gave it away and it belongs to him. But Granville can take it.
Yeah.
Yeah, he can.
He won't be for a
Hey.
while.
Probably not.
Well, not.
He's in doo-doo.
So he'll be taking it.
But politically, there is another thing that you can do. You can swear fealty to Zister. Doesn't grant him title, but it means that he is your leader, as it were. And therefore, if he gives you an order, you would essentially have to be like, you are my lord, and so therefore I must do this.
Cool.
So you could do that. and that solidifies his claim.
Like Zeron did with Granville.
Does that? Oh.
That's where it
Does
feels
that
cheap.
potentially interfere?
reflect?
Sorry. Does that potentially interfere with like other oaths of loyalty if we get contradictory?
No
orders?
Fae ever swears more than one oath without experiencing some form of like,
Claude.
and yes, Claude has definitely situated that. It could be an issue.
Mhm.
If for some reason Gwydion came up to you and said, you have to kill Zister Flex for the good of the house,
Mhm.
and Zister was like, I order you not to kill me, yes, you would be in trouble at that point.
I understand.
But the thing is, of course, if you're dealing with it in a house, you could be like, why is this order being given? Because like disobeying an order from a lord doesn't instantly break your oath. It means that you have to somehow find, like, if you can defend yourself to your house and succeed, then you're okay. But if your house is like, kill this man, and you're like, I don't want to, and then a tribunal is convened and they're like, you disobeyed us and you've harmed the house through disobeying us, then yes, you done fucked up. You broke your oath. But if they were like, it turns out that Duke so-and-so has been a secret mole this entire time, then you did not, because you helped the house.
Right.
But it is a very complicated situation that you've managed to put yourself in.
Yay!
We've already got Gwydion, Golden Braid, and this Motley.
Maybe I
And
should
your
just
wife.
become King Concordia. I'll just step over Lenore. Everything will be fine.
Go back to being.
Hog's girlfriend.
Yeah, you can be Cog's girlfriend.
Can we not talk about this treasonous discussion right now? Oh no. So just so we're clear, John, is this something that came to all of us, like kind of as a simultaneously, like Eureka?
This is something that all of you kind of know. So yes, for lack of a better way of describing it, yes, you all just sort of come up with a solution.
I mean, I'm already your steward, or I'm already the Spark steward, but I can be your steward. That makes it more direct.
That still smacks an awful lot like I get to tell you what I want you to do.
That's how title and rank works.
Ugh.
You already tell me what the frick to do, sister. You gotta keep people out of your workshop. Nothing would fricking change. You just have some people who, when it comes down to contracts and bullshit, you have more than just your tenacity to protect you.
All right. This is what I'm going to suggest. Shafia, you are Baroness of Liam. You operate out of this freehold. A freehold that is in fact in the center of your lands, which are not extensive. Patches, you are now Dougal. And apparently this means that there's a possibility that other people will have projects that will be coming in through you specifically because of your being a hammer. And Brahm, he's got that vacant stare. Never mind. Brahm's on pause.
His cell phone alarm is going off, and he can't quite figure out how to turn it off. Sorry. Sorry.
Then this is what I want. I want Granville to assign Zeron to me. In exchange, I will agree to allow Dougal to create in my workshop for Fiona. And I will make our resources available for other Dougal who wish to come here and construct. But they're all subject to you. Patches. I just want to make that clear because cameras are angles are strange. But they're renting time. Including your time, Patches.
Gotta keep the lights on somehow.
Zeron serves me. Not going to ask him to give up his house allegiance. I am going to require that he spends at least some of his time here.
Mm-hmm.
What else do we need to solidify?
Countess Ware would like a masterwork clock.
She wants a clock? Fine, I'll build her a frickin' clock. Does she want it to tell time in base 10? I can do that too.
I'll need to double check with her.
Oh, sure. What's this for?
Zeron's dowry?
Sure, if he's my knight, then I'll be able to take care of it. That's only appropriate, isn't it?
Thank you, sister.
What else? By the way, you're not going to be cheap. Dougal's going to have to pay through the nose, and they're going to have to accept that they may not have priority.
I will be creating. I will be creating for them. I will be a thoroughfare for them to an excellent workshop, and occasionally I may have to be taken away on other duties.
To be clear, I'm not asking anybody to remain here at all times. Also, to be clear, as long as you don't put yourselves in the books, then I'm not going to charge you, because the books are yours to handle now.
Yes, sir.
So, Fiona gets their shit, because Dougal gets to build their own shit, and they get to build it here, which is one of the best workshops in Concordia, because they have a Dougal on staff. In the meantime, I get a Fiona Pretty Boy to guard me whenever I want, except when he isn't here.
Sounds good.
Is there anything else?
Is there anything else I can do, sister?
Yeah, you can invite me to a bachelorette party.
Done.
Wrong. Because you've been on vacant mode for the past couple of minutes.
This is
I'm
amnesia.
sorry.
I have a very deliberate question to ask you.
Yes.
You have been affiliated with this freehold for a period of time before you even remembered that you held title. Is that not so?
That is the case.
Do you intend to leave this place?
The Spark is my home. No, I do not intend to leave this place.
And today's the day that I'm not becoming a noble, but that I do get a few nobles in my stable. I'll get trading cards made.
I'm a 4/4 with trample.
Do
Something
this.
Sun told me to say. Yeah.
Hmm?
To a new chapter.
Here comes.
I guess I have to figure out what oath I'm going to swear to all of you, huh?
That can be dealt with later. Has he sweated long enough for your liking? Not that she sweat.
All right, he's Fiona, and none of us are Fiona.
Mm-hmm.
Which means that it's going to fall upon you, Sophia, to let him know what the deal is. Because you're the highest ranking officer here right now. If he goes apeshit, kill him. Ask him to calm
Send him
down.
to you.
I don't believe we'll be killing.
I have
No.
alternatives.
You see? And he turns to Talus. They're already arguing with my orders. They haven't sworn anything to you yet. Fine. There's one other thing I want out of this.
Name it.
You get him officially recognized back into Changeling society.
Who would have the authority to do so?
That's something you'll have to figure out.
Understood. I, for one, would be very happy to make sure that Talus is afforded a place in the society once more.
I just
You've
want to
proven
stay
yourself
here.
be-
That's all I want. Stay here.
and stay here you shall.
Right? I guess we're all gonna go see the Duke.
I'm gonna take one more big swig of my drink and head out.
In the exhaust, as you pass through, Claude is just kind of sweeping up the pieces of the door.
Oh,
Has everything been figured out at this point?
we're working on it.
Oh. Cool.
We might need more alcohol after when we're on our way back in.
Why to form a Molotov cocktail?
Don't rule it out.
No.
I would like to rule it out.
I rule that out. I'm pretty comfortable ruling that out.
The Duke stands there. The wind has died down somewhat. Neela has taken a seat and is fanning herself. And Zeron is standing with his hands behind his back, just watching as you all come in. And Zister follows at the rear, and he steps into the garden, and he looks down at the door, and then he leans over. Who's paying for that?
But maybe tell him tomorrow once he's calmed down a little further.
I've been waiting for a very long time. Did whatever this thing get moved?
Your Grace, Sister Flex has a very generous offer.
Is he
And-
proposing marriage? Because
And because I don't want to forget anything, can I just relay his list?
Yes, you can. You succeeded at your politics roll earlier.
Yay. So she tries to stay very calm and very confident as she relays these.
So if I understand correctly, Dougal gets access to this workshop on a rental basis. But therefore they also gain access to the resources that this workshop has available through its contacts through the Best Den. You are to handle this. In exchange for Dougal being able to construct what they wish to construct here in the workshop, there's been an agreement that because this is in a Fiona County and Fiona Kingdom, that there will be considerations made for these materials to make their way to Fiona in the use of defending this kingdom.
Yes.
And I have to give up Zeron.
He stays in Cross's shadow.
I was going to give him up anyway. All right, it's time. I need all of you to roll your charisma politics, please.
Oh,
What an interesting role.
all of us?
And I am going to privately
Mm-hmm.
mark the number of successes that you require in order for him to agree to this.
What's the difficulty?
The difficulty is going to be a straight 6, because I don't think you can... Well, Sophia can't botch this roll. So I have 2 dice here. And I am marking how many successes I am going to require for this to work.
Silver-tongued and social gatherings are my specialties here.
Silver-tongued does apply.
Cool.
And I'd like to ask if I can spend a point of willpower.
Yes.
That was one. Fix that.
Oh, Patches, you came out on the positive.
I won't.
I mean, this was like a leaner between a 4 and a 6, and I tried to shake it and everything moved, but those were both successes before that full.
So, successes, please.
6.
Wow!
1.
And 3. Can you believe it?
So that means that you got a total of 10 successes. And I required...
8.
No, that's an 8 and a
80.
0. That's 80. I needed 80
Oh.
successes.
Oh boy.
All right, so
Alzeron, really nice.
Granville, how
yeah.
about you meet Groundsville? Yeet!
Yeet.
Granville and Crownsville!
Hmm.
As long as we're yeeting nobles. Oh,
Yeah.
Eating success.
I find your
Including 10.
terms acceptable. And then he nods. I'll get the paperwork drafted. And he just walks out of the garden, leaving Neela there.
I'm gonna go over to her. I realize this negotiation hasn't helped your position.
I deserve it.
No. You were promised things that you shouldn't have been promised. It's not fair that folks led you astray.
Does this mean I don't get my tour?
You absolutely can get a tour today, and based on these negotiations, you're even welcome to work here, should it be of interest. We aren't quite decked out in terms of transistors, and our natural load is above average, but perhaps not for the more advanced experiments you might be interested in, but we could see what we could do. Let me start with a drink and a snack. Perhaps.
Yes, I would like that very much.
Make sure it's portable so we can check out the workshop.
You may have saved an alliance today. Not bad for 2 hours.
I did it for my friends.
What matters is that you did it.
Actions, not words.
And she starts to head into the exhaust.
As her knight on life, I feel compelled to follow her into the exhaust, but I definitely give my friends a pretty discreet thumbs up on my way.
I like how Brahm's discreet thumbs up probably involves some crackling and a
also
And his thumb's like this tall.
yeah, exactly. It's a fully 8 inches long. Whoa.
the size of my
Damn.
Daniel.
Whoa. That's horrible. Oh, whoa, sorry. Oh boy. But I'll accompany Neela in.
Damn it. Yay.
Well, it's there forever now.
By my reckoning, that means that it's just Zeron and Sophia now in the garden.
I feel like I've been holding my breath for half the day. How are you?
I wanted very much to not hurt anybody in the pursuit of something I knew I was going to get. I hope that has become true.
Maybe not today, but eventually that, I'm convinced, will be very much true.
We did it. But not just the two of us. We all did it. We came together. We solved one problem. But at the same time, many? But at the core, everyone acted because of us.
That's what I love about this place. And that's why, even though it looked a little strange, I've been here for so long. Because everybody acts for each other, no matter how it looks. Now you are officially part of the pack. We don't have to make excuses for you always being here anymore.
You're going to have to tell me the rules for when I cohabitate.
Oh, so you're moving in. Is that what's happening? I thought
If
we
you would prefer, I
suite.
could maintain my own residence.
I'm kidding. We will need to get a shower drain. I saw a great one online. Gets very
There's
good
far
photos.
too much hair.
Between the two of us, yes.
I'm certain that Mab would become upset if we didn't arrange somehow to keep it under control.
She has her own bathtub on back order. A tub shroom.
There's one other thing that we need to negotiate. wherever we move on from here. I hope you understand that it is in no way meant to cage you or me. I want you to be free to love whoever you wish, for as long as you wish. I would even share in the knowledge and in the emotion of that love, if you would wish to do so. Just as long as I get to be here for when you come back, and vice versa.
Something I will readily agree to. Other loves do not lessen what I feel for you.
No. No, they can only strengthen it. I'm not certain how I got to be this lucky. Maybe
It's
Dawn
good
doesn't
to
have
hear.
it in for me anyway. Wrong.
Sir.
Kyoko is sitting in the exhaust, and she has passed this half, and you can tell because there's this line of like oil around the top of it, but a bowl that's full of popcorn, and she has passed it over to Saley, who is very happily munching away at the kernels that
Ah.
are at the bottom. Except she doesn't have teeth, so she's just swallowing them.
You're a monster, Sailor. I have much to tell you.
Oh? Are you getting married to Zeron now?
No. Would you like me to?
I get the feeling like there's a lot of fanfic writers out there who would love the chance to see it in canon.
What is fanfic?
Well, in your case,
Mm-hmm.
it involves a lot of sweat and men. Or at least according to my journal.
Is it a form of Greco-Roman wrestling, then?
Yes, a form of it.
I understand. Then perhaps Sir Zeron and I can engage in fanfic at the next penance ceremony.
Oh, penance.
At penance.
Nice.
At any rate, Lady Kyoko, Dr. Saley, I feel it is my duty to inform you of this. Oh boy. Ah! Sorry. Squee! Excuse me.
Wow, Zeron's busted.
Yay!
3-2 for 3? Holy shit. Okay, all right.
It's not that he's a 3-2 for 3.
No,
It's
I-
the fact that he prevents
That's all.
non-combat damage that would be dealt to other creatures.
Yeah.
That's
That's-
Dawn.
That's pretty good. His
Gotta kill
haste
Zeron.
mentor, and he can potentially gain first strike. Not bad. His colors are correct though.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. I await my card. I'm kidding.
Let's see YouTube.
No, don't be kidding. I'd like to see your card too.
Fucking do it. Here we go. Kyoko, Saley. There was almost... We managed to avert a disaster here today.
No, you managed to find space for love. Let's spin this the way that we want to. Zeron and Sophia get to be happy now.
That is true. I was concerned somehow the political burden of this situation fell to us
I
to
did.
attempt to resolve.
Well, now we all have to do some sort of weird ceremony where we all become indebted to Zeron, or not Zeron, Zister. The other is
Well, it doesn't have to be a weird ceremony.
oh, it's going to be weird.
Why
It's
is
going to
that?
be weird. I'm gonna be there. Tell me, is there going to be a bachelor party?
I'm not sure. I have not yet been informed as to who would be organizing it.
You telling me that you're not the best man?
hasn't asked me yet.
She looks you up and down. Certainly one of the better men.
What would you, if I am in charge of invitations, Dr. Saley, I would of course consult Sir Zeron as to his wishes. Do you wish to attend, or make an appearance?
I like parties.
What do you like about them?
We'll see. We'll see, won't we?
Like literally speechless. Literally speechless with her. I don't know what to tell you.
I imagine it's going to be rock solid.
Well, Sir Zeron does enjoy steam.
I'll bet.
Well, it's definitely one of the best ways to relax, I imagine. He and I have spent many times before in saunas of
Are you
various...
kidding me?
What?
You're going to have a bachelor party and you want to relax.
What would you do at a bachelor party?
Why would you ask that?
Being polite.
I wouldn't be polite, I'll tell you that much.
All right. I've been meaning to ask you, Dr. Saley, that fine gentleman, the enchanted mortal, Malcolm. Did
What
you
about
two?
him?
Well, I was just wondering. He seems to have taken a shine to you, or he seemed to take a shine to you when he was here. Did you bond over something?
Oh, he's a rock scientist, isn't he?
I suppose he is, in a manner of speaking.
Yeah. I think of the best experiments.
I hesitate to put this out into the universe because I feel like I have advanced the cause of science so much for you already, but you have done so much for us, Dr. Saley. If there is anything that a knight of House Gwydion can do for you, please do not hesitate to ask me.
I can think of a few things you can do for me.
I like 100% look to Kyoko like.
Kyoko is just
Help. Nothing, eh? Nothing at all. Okay, cool. Cool.
But now that I have your permission,
My honor.
find you when I need you. Yeah?
Well, if there's anything you need, you can approach me, of course. Yes, that's not in question.
Yeah.
I have some lines in the sand, or stone, as it were. Haha.
Lines in the sand, huh?
Yes.
Tell me about these lines.
It would depend on the situation. I'm not going to put myself in.
It's not very much lines in the sand, is it? That seems an awful lot like I might worse out.
Well, I always assumed a line in the sand was named such because you could blot it out and move it if you needed to. Is that
Don't
not?
worry. I have ways of making people believe that their lines mean movement.
Kyoko, you are out of snacks. Perhaps we can go and find some more together.
Oh, I'm all for an awkward segue. And she stands up.
Yes! That's my wife!
And she takes Brahm's hand, and then she looks at Saley. And then just pulls him away, and Saley continues to just like take up burnt kernels and just you can almost hear each individual one like drop into her stomach.
Not sure what it is about her, Kyoko. She's just done so much for us. I feel like I need to repay her, but every time she needs repayment, it's something horrible.
Would you say that it's horrible?
No, that's being a touch dramatic. My apologies. It's uncomfortable.
I think discomfort is the sort of thing that she experiments with.
Right. Right.
Do you not want to experiment with her? You don't have to.
No, she...
Imagine that she doesn't have very many people with your kind of endurance.
What?
I said, I imagine that she doesn't have very many people volunteering for her experiments who have quite the endurance that you have.
I just, perhaps there's some grit in my ears. I thought I heard a certain tone in your voice. That's all.
Oh, a certain tone?
Implication. Yes, an implication.
Well, what sort of tone would that be?
An implying one.
Have I ever implied anything onto you?
Now we're getting into a tricky situation.
No? Brom, I couldn't possibly see you being in any kind of tricky situation, especially here at the Spark.
Not uncomfortable helping Saley. I just know that her tastes are not the same as mine.
What
And
sort
I-
of tastes would those be? Her popcorn tastes?
That's one of them, yes.
Just one.
Yes, just one.
What happened in that ambulance?
She wanted to make a point of making me uncomfortable.
Which is something that happens at the bachelor party.
Need it, though?
You know, you're absolutely right. I imagine that if you give in, she could make you feel very comfortable.
Kyoko, you don't think that Saley...
I don't think for a lot of reasons. I'm, after all, slowly becoming more and more like my husband.
And I, reach out to pat her on the shoulder. I'm so sorry.
Maybe I should tell Sophia before she gets hitched.
They could only both improve by becoming more like the other, so actually I feel like that's not a bad thing, really.
I don't know about that. And then she starts to head towards where she can potentially score some more alcohol.
Yay!
Point.
Talus comes up to you.
Me?
So now we're going to have to think of titles for everybody. Roles. Duties.
Yep.
What about me?
I assume everyone.
Well, shit.
I can only think of inappropriate ones off the top of my head, so.
I really want to hear the inappropriate ones.
Chief Servicer?
And who's that?
For yourself.
If you really want somebody to gain the title of Chief Servicer, you might have to look at Sister himself.
Well, I don't think he could. Well, if that's really where he's at with his romantic life. I'm sorry, I misunderstood.
You might want to discuss with your motley about where they may contribute.
Yes. I will. It's just been a bit of a day. I was hoping that perhaps the details of the titles could wait. Seeing as I just gained one.
Yeah, how does that feel?
Right, but you know, I was planning to wait in and jump off the 10 meter. It's the right fit for me. For a long time, I thought Fiona might be.
I don't think so.
Become increasingly apparent in recent days.
You need a hug.
I'm actually going to request your help with something that I'm going to have to undertake.
What's that?
It's part of dreading the house. It's part of being Dougal.
Oh. Ah. And how can I help with that?
Tips, tricks.
For what? When you make a decision that causes you to lose a part of your body?
I mean,
And he uses his actual arm
Mhm.
to clap you on the shoulder. Drink. Food. Plans.
Yeah.
Do you know how long you have? Before you get...
Gonna like pull up for a napkin, pull out a pen, start sketching.
Sophia, where are you going?
I am going to find Incisor.
oh.
Okay. Incisor's not actually in the freehold right now, but she's not hard to find. When you do find her, she is in a referee's uniform at an indoor hockey rink on skates with a whistle in her mouth as 13-year-olds are playing out a quarterfinal intramural hockey match.
Oh, Incisor.
I'm
Should be
just
rolling
gonna. Sophia's gonna take a seat in the stands and wait for the practice to be done.
Oh, it's not a practice, it's a game.
Oh shit! Sorry, I missed that. Wait for the quarterfinals to be done.
Towards the end, it's a nail biter of a game. It's 12-12.
Holy shit.
It's junior hockey.
That's fair. That's a good point, actually. 12-12. Sorry. That's good.
One of the parents protests against a penalty shot call, and Incisor turns around and looks at this, like, you know, hulking dad, and she just lets the whistle drop from her mouth and fall onto her chest, and she smiles at him, and he sits down. And then she returns her attention to the game. It doesn't last for much longer. And then as the teams file back to their dressing rooms, and she confers with the timekeeper and makes sure that everything is all squared away, you see her take just one quick lap around the ice.
I'm gonna walk down.
And then she stops and looks up.
Full of surprises.
I don't know why this is such a surprise.
Just
Look,
never
you got
knew.
your own ways to muse.
It suits you.
Fucking right it does. What do you need?
There's something I have to tell you. I wanted you to hear it from me first.
You better
Zeron
not be
and-
dying.
Zeron and I are engaged.
Congratulations.
I'd like to make a perk-empathy roll on that, if I might.
Sure.
Thank you.
Now I'm imagining Incisor as a roller derby player competitor, just like shoving people and like biting arms off and shit. It's awesome.
One success.
She seems genuinely happy for you.
That's what you get.
I am always going to be here for you if you ever need me.
I don't know what you mean.
I know you pride yourself on not needing anyone, but the offer is there. I'm here.
I mean, you landed Zeron. You're gonna need me. Because there's gonna be like 30% of Concordia that's gonna come out for your head.
I think I can take them. I can be a dragon.
Comes back to the old dragon, huh? And then she takes her skates off. Like she skates off the ice and takes her skates off and puts on boots. And then she comes over and she just wraps you in a big hug.
I'll be back.
So what made you want to settle down?
We would have been together for a very long time, whether or not we got married. Circumstances occurred, and it became the right thing to do.
Circumstances? This sounds like an interesting story. What up?
He was set to be married to someone else.
Oh shit!
Political alliance.
A political alliance?
Mm-hmm.
That's fucking stupid.
I know.
Who the fuck's idea was this?
Granville's.
He's an
and
asshole.
Others. I wish you'd been there, honestly. Actually, it's for the best you weren't there.
Why? Because I might have decided to see how she tastes?
You probably would have at least punched him in the face. He said some very punchable things, and
I don't think he'd
Thanks.
stand up to one of my punches.
no.
I'm happy for you. Like, actually happy for you.
Thank you.
Does
What
it
are you
mean that
doing now?
Zeron's gonna, like, be around more often?
Yes, that was sort of part of the bargain as well.
Oh. So, I guess I gotta look at the two of you now, not just one of you.
It was
Whatever.
a
He's
double
ki-
whammy of sorts.
He's kind of androgynous looking. I could get behind that.
Good. What are you doing now?
Well, I just finished this, would you believe that there's a goalie who in a couple of weeks is probably going to realize that she's good enough to, try to go pro in like 10 years?
That's wonderful.
Well, we'll see. She's got talent, not a lot of inspiration.
But you're giving that to her. Of course you are. She's so lucky to have you.
Thing is, I'm a ref. And a ref isn't supposed to be all, buddy-buddy with the players, but I find ways. I am starving, and I could use a bite to eat, and I would love the chance to find out where you would take me, knowing that I could eat anything.
What are you in the mood for?
It's more about the company than the food anyway.
How about a pub? Pub fare? Sound
Yeah,
good?
I could do a pub. I could eat a pub. I could eat a pub.
And maybe some nachos.
Yes. See, this is why you have title. You're the smart one.
And come on, let's go.
When do I get to threaten Zeron?
Whenever you want.
Oh, sweet.
I
Wait.
honestly can't wait to see who would win that standoff.
Oh, between me and Zeron? What, are you
Yes.
fucking kidding me?
Well, you can intimidate anything, and he can't feel fear. Truly, in a staring contest, who would blink first? Now I need to know.
Probably outweigh him by like 20 pounds. I could destroy him.
I mean, don't, please.
I won't. Because you love him. But also because he's pretty good. Pretty good. All right. Does anybody have anything that they immediately need to arrange before we move forward in time?
There's one more thing that Sophia wants to ask Zeron about, and then possibly create a huge upset.
Sweet. So we're looking forward to that. Either of you?
Drama. I'm good.
Okay, Zeron wants to talk with Brahm.
Okay.
I could have words with Duke, but that might not be wise.
Yes. Oh God, please. Yes.
Hello.
That's all I wanted.
Yeah.
That's all I've ever wanted.
Are you going to have words with the
I
dude?
guess so.
Okay, Zeron wants to talk to you as well.
Yeah. Cool.
So I guess Zeron's got to talk to the three of you, and you got to talk to the Duke. Okay. First off, is Zeron and Brahm.
Hello. Longest day.
I understand that this goes almost without saying, and yet I imagine that I still need to say it. Thank you.
I don't believe I did anything, friend.
Will you be my best man?
Of course.
Then, thank you
Ah,
for supporting
can't-
me.
I would support you to the ends of the earth, my friend. And I hope you do not regret your choice of best man.
No. Regret isn't in my nature. Now, if you excuse me, I have to do something that I might regret.
Where are you going?
I have to go and see Patches.
Oh. Let me know if you need backup.
Not for this one. And he'll.
Zip.
This is still of the day. I have a request.
Shoot.
It is normally inappropriate to assault someone on the day of their betrothal.
Okay.
Whatever duties that you may have in the coming weeks or months, or whenever we decide to formalize this relationship, I must ask if you would be my second. Should I be challenged on the day, if you would fight for my honor?
Seeing as I don't foresee Brom or Sophia objecting, absolutely.
This doesn't preclude you from any other activities that may occur. Simply that if somebody were to challenge me, then I have someone I can trust.
I'll fight in your court any day.
Thank you.
Thank you.
I choose incensed.
There's no fight. There doesn't have to be fighting, Liz. She's like already lining up people. She's like, Brom, what are you doing? Incisor, can you be a third?
I'm sorry.
Look, I'm just trying to get everybody so that she has no one, right? That's
Right.
how this works.
God damn it.
Rude, by the way.
Well,
Fair.
she doesn't shy away from killing.
Not like you honor bound, dude.
Zeron goes and sees Sophia, and after a brief conversation, they head elsewhere. Where are they going?
We're going to see Talus.
Loose.
Talus is in his office, and he is absentmindedly picking at a guitar, but it's nothing at all kind of formed. It's just sort of tongue, twang, twang.
Twoom.
That's good.
Oh, hi. Yeah, please, come in, come in.
We have something to ask you.
I'm here.
She looks at Zeron.
He nods.
We would like you to officiate our wedding.
This is going to be one of the more important oaths you ever swear, and you want me to look over it.
Mm-hmm. At that, she's gonna like run to him
What, I'm like, knife him?
and wrap him in a hug. God
Knives.
damn it!
Secret Villain starts at episode 200.
No more shivs.
150.
Is that a yes?
And he just starts crying into your shoulder.
That's nice.
Just gonna sit there and hold him.
Zeron goes around the desk and puts a hand on his shoulder.
If I'm able to, catch Duke Randall before he leaves.
You mean before he leaves the freehold itself?
Mhm.
Or he leaves, like,
The freehold.
life?
The mortal
Freehold.
realm, yeah. Oh.
All right, just before he ends up leaving, Neela
Mhm.
is... Neela has already arranged to have dinner with Brom.
Excuse me.
What?
Rude.
So get on.
Okay.
Do you have a moment?
I have nothing but time, the representative of House Dougal.
Thank you for coming to a compromise.
I've never seen 2 years destroyed and reformed so quickly.
Things move fast with us.
I see. So Ignite isn't merely a spark reference. It also involves the speed at which things can catch fire.
Be reformed. As you said yesterday, political marriages are just that, political. And so, should House Villanous still seek some allegiance, I would be willing to serve for a year and a day.
In what capacity?
Political marriage.
With who?
Someone who I don't love. And, I think I might bail.
Wait, okay, what does Patcha say and what is Kate saying?
Someone who I don't love. Turn to leave.
You hear the sounds of the elevator being called, open, entered, closed, and leave. And standing behind the bar, of course, because it's quite close to the elevator, Claude comes out of the kitchen and he places a single perfect muffin on the bar. The reason why I say it's perfect is because it looks like it has perfect sheen on top. It has no wrapper around it, and yet it's holding its shape. There's a single crumb falling from it. I understand you're a lady now.
Yes.
Or is it something else?
I think Dame is a better fit.
Dame. It has been some time since I've known a dame. Come and sit, please.
I'm abnormal. I will sit.
What was that?
And, thought I had been better understood than I was.
I'm going to have him ready. Specifically, the social dynamics between Patches and Duke Granville.
Roll into your
That's a
dice
bargain.
box.
Oh, I already botched this one,
What?
but this roll I did not.
Looks like a good roll.
That's a
Sorry.
bargain thing you can do.
It's just like, oh, dice
Yes, that is a bargain thing.
Yeah, play a bargain next time. No, I'm not.
And how Indeed. Is Patch's relationship to the Duke currently?
She in what he said yesterday and then things he said today, it's become really clear that he really didn't understand her at all. And so he she never was and still isn't looking for a deep, important relationship, but there's still something about being completely.
So she's broken it off.
No, she hasn't necessarily made that move, but she's definitely, I guess, just a bit surprised by how little he clued in, and thus how little he bothered to clue in.
Okay. But in other words, she doesn't consider the two of them broken up.
There was no the thing is, she doesn't consider them ever having been together or broken up. So at the moment, she's just like she's not gonna head over tonight.
Okay, so when I say broken up, I mean more like their friends with benefits situation
Is
on hold,
yeah,
but not necessarily over.
yeah, from her side.
Do you feel like you're a different person?
Every day changes me. Today I surprised myself. But as I told Zister, I'm still the same person I was yesterday. Just
I
day.
remember when I finally became a member of House Gwydion. And it was a stupid thing for me to ever agree to enter House Gwydion some days. Some days no. An unseelie knight of House Dougal. And an unseelie knight of House Gwydion. And we're the shorter end of the spectrum. You're a different person. The thing is, you're a different person to everyone else because now they see what was in your mind and your heart. You perhaps have been considering this for a long time, but they do not know this. I love being a part of the house. It's like a change of clothes that I can put on when I need it, and I can take it off and no one knows.
Yeah. I really do think Dougal is a good fit for me.
I mean, what other else would be, right? And we aren't all cut out for our sister.
Thank you, Claude.
I like how people forget. I like cleaning up after people in this place. I like even making the food and worrying about what somebody's drink preferences are. And this is not the sort of thing that you would expect from a Gwydion knight. It's just not done. But I am not a Gwydion knight. I'm Claude. Gwydion knight comes some time after that. You are not a Dougal knight. You are Patches.
Yeah.
The dame comes a little later.
Steward of the Spark, Defender of Northern Ice, Lady of the House.
I like who Patches is, and I like what she's become.
Thank you.
May those who spend time with us understand who we are. If I'm going to make that toast, I'm going to confront the problem.
All about confronting things.
I've got the phone call to make.
It's been about a month, hasn't it? A few months.
It's been a few months.
I can stay if you want. You can come find me after. For a drink or shooting practice or checking things.
I hate guns. I had to learn, but I hate guns. They're loud and they break.
I can take your frustration in on the other windows and have Granville pay for those too. Or it'll go well and we'll have a good.
I'll be right back. He goes into the kitchen. And he doesn't come out for a few hours.
I may nap on the car on my way, but I'm gonna stay. Just like that. Not like.
Fall asleep on the yeah. Yeah.
Roll me your stamina.
Damn, Aaron.
Straight stamina.
Mm-hmm. You're fine. So he comes out after about 2 hours. Clicks off the phone.
Better or worse than you expected?
I don't know if it's appropriate to start talking about it. It's this was supposed to be a day about celebrating a marriage, not ending one.
Everything changes. Change is good.
Yeah. Change is good.
And if what I gather, the relationship has ended, that too is good. Because it means it wasn't worth preserving. It wasn't working, it wasn't bringing joy. Because if it doesn't bring joy,
It still brings me joy. But it is time to understand that the memories of joy are not enough.
new fun. I'm going to set up doesn't like guns.
A bar fire?
No.
Ah! It's
Just like a
rebirth!
bunch of
The phoenix rises from the ashes!
cans to shoot at, but he doesn't like guns, so I'm gonna set up some cans and find some good throwing.
I mean, he's a boggin. He loves throwing rocks at shit. That's what boggins do. Yeah.
Is this a thing that I?
Yeah, that's actually a thing. Like, boggins are based off of hobbits.
Yeah.
And hobbits are very skilled at throwing stones.
Oh,
at things.
so
Like
yeah,
halflings.
great. I'm gonna.
That's a thing.
That's something that I guess I had whiffed on. Yeah, I'm definitely gonna set up a bunch of cans and stuff for him to rock that.
Anybody else have any actions that they need to take? Do you have anywhere that you're going with this specific thing, or is it just sort of like a
Let's commiserate.
Like you're not trying to be like, hey, Claude, so you want to go like kill a drifter just to
Whoa.
No.
just to see what it's like?
No. No, just
I need to plan a better.
try to give him something that maybe he'll be able to throw some of his frustration.
He doesn't
some of his
demand an
frustration.
oath, but he does ask you to not tell other people about this.
Yeah.
I swear to God, I'll never tell. You swear to me.
They have gods. Anyway.
I believe that means that the next episode will not catch us up entirely, but it will end up being close to, if not exactly, Saturday, May 2nd, Beltane. But I think we'll end the session here.
Yay! A time of renewal and rejuvenation. Oh, well, poop. To any opportunity, here it comes.
So, funnily enough, Beltane in the Changeling calendar actually, I believe, falls on the 2nd.
Well, you got to keep the 1st of May open, clearly.
Because that's May Day.
Right. May Day. Yeah. Well, that's nice. Well, it's going to be a time of renewed vows, new vows, making sure nobody kills Zeron. It's going to be great. It's going to be great. Yeah. Perfecto.
I mean, Beltane.
Yeah.
This will be the 3rd?
Guess
That
so.
sounds right, yeah.
Only the 3rd? I feel like this may even be our 4th.
I think
No,
this
it
might
can only be
our-
the 3rd.
I remember 2 other Beltanes, but my memory's not
First
what it
one
used
she
to be.
slept with Kyoko. The second one she slept with Charles and Zeron?
I don't remember if she slept with Sarah on that day because he was macking on Kaylee.
But she slept with Zeron at Beltane, I thought.
Oh, it was at the end of that, yeah.
I mean, we'll have to find that
I'll
out.
have to check.
We'll
That's how I
check
keep
on that.
track. Yeah.
As Loom of Fate tells us, rpgclinic.com.
No, the first one was Kyoko. That's for sure.
Oh,
First one was Granville.
What? First
Oh,
one.
I'm
I
yeah,
was
I can have anyone I
first.
want. Ooh.
Granville.
That's a Tawny impression.
Yes, it was. You're right.
Braum needed to be more of a forgetful asshole to win today at bingo.
Oh, because there's a Brom forgets about his wife. I
Yeah.
guarantee. I guarantee.
Hey, he forgot about his other one.
Braum forgets, and Braum pisses off the other PCs by acting unilaterally would have secured a bingo.
That happens quite often, actually. That's true.
There was an Exaltwitch reference,
Mm-hmm.
so that's where it would have been filled in. I had a hot take. I will accept my hot take, even though it wasn't at the game's beginning. But I did have a hot take. Braum didn't establish the law, and Scott didn't use an accent that was unlike its own.
It wasn't an appearance check or tears or 6p.
What?
No,
Yeah,
the card is legit.
Yep.
The card is legit. What else is legit is the fact that we have a play of the game to vote on.
Hooray!
So, time to vote. The vote starts now. Sophia lays out terms for Duke Granville and gains his agreement. Patches' heckle proves a knocker noble is still a knocker. Or Braum's calm, neutral presence as guardian of Neale helps to soothe her heartache. That is vote 0, 1, or 2 now. And in the meantime, we'll find out what we learned. Kate?
Courtly intrigue is kind of fun.
Yay!
Like for you or for Patches?
Oh,
For me, and I feel like having succeeded at what she needed to succeed at, she doesn't entirely. She having a noble stake in it. She doesn't hate it. She thought she would. So yeah.
All right. Scott?
I learned that Brahm is thinking outside the box in terms of like he's not a political minded kind of he has his political knowledge, but like he doesn't think outside the box in terms of political maneuvering. So instead, he comes up with sort of more creative solutions. I like the Legion of Adventurers idea, as silly as it might seem, or as like sort of strange as it might seem.
Liz?
Sophia is really happy and relieved how things worked out. She's also disappointed that she had no direct impact over the negotiations, that it was all done with the spark and the workshop and the creation of it. And when she offered to help, the Duke just brushed it aside. So she's disappointed that like she herself didn't have any value to bring, that he still doesn't see her as something that's worth acquiring for the house. She's really disappointed about
I
that.
was wondering if you'd pick up on that.
Yeah. Yeah. And it sucks. Like she's happy, so she's not gonna talk about it for a bit, but like, yeah, she's
But there was definitely not so much undertones as just tones of like, well, what does the leader do? This is a advisor to the queen, Whatever.
Because it's unfortunate we haven't done a ton of politics in this game specifically, but yeah, House Liam kind of gets it in the teeth. They're not known for that. However, who is known today are Patches and Brahm.
Hey! Clap, 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 clap.
Might he also be threatened if she gains more influence, especially as a Liam? Kukujutsu throws out there.
It's cool.
And I think that's a legitimate question.
I think she just like feels like not even her as Liam or her as Baroness or Advisor of Dreams, but just like what Sophia has done for him, the Duke, and he still would have none of it. Like that just fucking sucks.
Well, especially like, I mean, not to I don't want to speak on behalf of your character, but from my perspective, I feel no, please.
Go ahead, Scott. Why don't you roleplay explain?
I got this. Don't worry. You see, actually, wow. No, but like from my perspective, I feel like Sophia started her journey as a noble, not like understanding that she didn't earn her place and try to like work against that, and then has done so much and is now once again at a point where she's like, oh, I guess people don't value me. Like, it's just like a wild roller coaster,
Yeah.
Forsooth, actually. Ugh. Ow,
Like
my soul.
basically, if Zister and Patches hadn't saved her ass, like Zeron would have been exiled from the house.
Yikes.
Yeah.
So I don't know if I'd go quite that far just yet, but you are correct in that Sophia was blocked from parts of these negotiations, and I don't know what that effect might have.
Yeah. I'm making a note.
Secret villain. Well, look, if he were to get into another scrape with a dragon, maybe she wouldn't come to his aid.
Maybe she would be the dragon.
Exactly.
Who knows?
I was going to say, like...
Busy.
Have you ever seen Sophia and the Dragon Assailant in the same place at the same time?
Yeah.
Right, of course.
Oh no!
Green dragon. Yeah.
I'm looking forward to see what that does. And at the same time, it's hard because I also am like, oh man, I gotta do something shitty. Like that's actually the hardest part for me in these sorts of things. Is like if there's somebody who's clearly an established villain, then it's not so hard. But when it's somebody who I'm like, oh, we've known this person for a while, we've liked them and all that, and then they have to do something kind of like that's hard for me because it triggers the same emotional response in me that I'm like, oh, I'm being shitty to my friends.
Oh no. I mean, flip side, I always find it's nice to sort of like renew a relationship with an NPC, you know, like I certainly was at a point where I was like, oh, it's good old Duke Granville. He runs Heartslight. I know him. Like I didn't, I had no, I was kind of like, like I didn't have any relationship towards him either way. And now all of a sudden there's a lot more, oh, he feels put upon. He feels he needs to prove something. I don't know. It really layers the character.
Yeah. Not just a cocaine snorting dude.
Well, he is also that, but
He's also, it's a yes.
What do you think he's going to do right after this session?
Snort a line.
cocaine.
Yeah, not a line. He's going to go skiing down Mount Coke.
Mountain.
You know, you get a bowl of like pancake batter and like put your face in it, and it just goes.
How the whole idea was thought up, actually. It's like, this is a great idea. I've got this great idea. Okay, I'm going to do it. And Sarah doesn't need to know until I'm done.
Yeah, that was the original. It wasn't 2 years ago. It was 2 minutes. It just feels like 2 years to him. I've been working on this for years, man.
Oh my God, can you imagine?
That'd actually be really funny. Yeah.
Kung Fu Fenris, it's more like what didn't happen between Patches and the Duke.
Like Kung Fu Fenris' sound, I think.
Yeah. She.
You might not be able to hear us say it. I think someone in chat may have to film
No,
it.
I think it was temporary.
She.
Said thanks for coming to a compromise, and if House Fiona still require, like as you said, political marriages don't require love, but if House Fiona still needs a political marriage, I'm willing to do so. And he said, to who? And she said, well, certainly not like someone who I don't love. And
then she dips that out of there.
Beast.
And then he dips it out of there. And
Yeah.
Folks, it's going to be a week of streams coming up. What do we have to look forward to? I know that there's something on Monday. There's something on Monday.
Tomorrow at 3 p.m., we continue the grand tradition of FMV creepos. We're shapeshifting, folks. Tomorrow at 3 p.m. Or thereabouts. I'll check. I'm hoping we're gonna finish.
Patches. I'm Patches.
I think my favorite is, hi, I'm Lexi. My favorite.
Oh, are you okay?
We're good.
Is that your funny bone?
We're good.
Oh,
So check Discord and Twitter for details.
Do you have anything planned?
Nothing to announce quite yet. Still sorting my schedules and tech and all of that.
But you got something in the works. Maybe.
Eventually.
We'll see.
Trying to figure stuff out. I'm looking at maybe making new overlays and stuff, so that's all. Yeah.
I know that Friday something happens, but it's something different this time around, isn't it?
It sure is. And also Nancy Drew is scheduled for Wednesday at 4. I do have a gig at some point that day, but I just don't know when, so that's subject to change. But yes, Friday we are starting Horizon Zero Dawn Popanchi.
Robo Punch. But what about Thursday?
So Thursday, I am starting a new mini-series in terms of RPG Clinic. And this may be of particular interest to people who have not... Oh, thanks, Siri.
I was like, you guys don't live with animals? What the hell's going on over there?
You may or may not know this. We may or may not bring this up relatively often, but we're all linked in a couple of different ways, not the least of which is the fact that we all went to the same university for the same degree, kind of, but also we worked on a web series known as LARPs that was released first by Beanduck Productions and then by Beanduck Productions in co-production with Keaton Sundry on their channel. And as it turns out, that series is about people who roleplay. The plan is for RPG Clinic to watch the series and then in between episodes to comment not on the filmmaking process, but specifically on the issues about role-playing that the show raises, specifically with the person who wrote the show. And that's me! And also with some special guests. This Thursday, 6 p.m. Eastern Daylight Time, I will be hosting Hukajutsu, a relative newcomer to the series, I should point out, as we'll discuss Season 1. So we are only going to be watching Season 1, but we will be watching it in order without interrupting the audio. So there will be commentary in text for those who've seen it, but for those who haven't, you can watch with us. And then between each episode, we will be discussing the issues that it raises about role-playing itself. So this is a rewatch. Larps the series redirects to be done.
When I opened it, it just stalled. So it might just be because I'm on a shitty old computer, but...
No, well, we'll see.
Okay.
There we go. Liz has it. Liz
I,
got
for
it.
one, am super jazzed and stoked to hear some. Well, they don't have to be hot takes necessarily, but like, I'm really excited to hear people's perspectives on the questions of role playing and interaction within and outside of game. People who aren't like, heavily into the series because they made it like 7 years ago or whatever.
Yeah. But anyway, it'll be worth a watch. You can watch in advance if you want. If you do, please go find Beanduck's YouTube channel and watch the playlist there instead of Geek and Sundries, because Geek and Sundries playlist is in reverse order and eliminates one of the episodes.
Sorry.
Thank you, Aragorn.
Yeah.
Yay.
So come and join us then. But in the meantime, I know that it's tough, but we're supported by She Who Knows 10,000 Things, who's around for us at all times. Aragorn, thank you. And also the Crosshair, you're almost there. If you're listening to us right now, you're so close to being caught up, unless you're listening to this in like a year's time, in which case you got a long way to go, but we're looking forward to seeing you back.
I have one more, sorry to interrupt.
Yeah.
I forgot one more thing. Punchy Book Club is next Sunday. And we're going to make it at noon instead of 1 because I have an Adventures to go at 2. So at noon, we're going to be talking Saga Volume 4.
Already.
Yeah. Now.
Look, it's a rough time out there, but we're all going to get through this. How?
I'll
See
sit
you
together.
next time.
Bye.
Bye.
Politicking.